So, got introduced to a interesting article on wikiHow today that I just... What the fuck? So, I decided I'm gonna go ahead and make a video on it. Anyways, let me scroll down, scroll back up. That's how I'm gonna synchronize this shit. Anyways, so, this is how to calculate pi by throwing frozen hot dogs. Let's get into it. So, step one is you select your food item to throw. Apparently you can do it with more than just hot dogs, but I'm going to follow this article as best I can. That is if I actually go through with this and, film me throwing fucking hot dogs. I haven't decided yet. But the qualifications are, it must be long, thin, and hard, like a frozen hot dog, for example. It must be a reasonably stiff item. It must be somewhere between 15 and 20 centimeters, or 6 to 8 inches long. Well, I guess I have to bring a tape measure to wherever I get these things. Probably gonna go with Dollar Tree. Yeah. Select a spot in which you throw them. You'll need about 6 to 10 feet in front of you, or 180 to 300 centimeters, as you'll be throwing straight ahead. Clear the area. Well, no shit. You should probably clean that before you do anything like this anyway. Measure the length of your projectile. I mean, they did specify that they need to be within a certain length earlier. I guess it's gonna get more specific. Anyway, tape measure should do the trick. Be as accurate as you can, even down to the millimeter for best results. Since length is a factor, it's best to choose food items that are all the same size. If you've chosen something that isn't naturally uniform, such as celery sticks, cut them evenly beforehand. Lay down masking tape and parallel strips across the floor, as far apart as your projectile is long. Strips should be perpendicular to the direction you'll be throwing. If your item is 15 to 45 centimeters or 6 to 18 inches long, lay down 6 to 10 strips. Lay down fewer if longer and more if shorter. Wait, so you can go shorter. Good to know. On a piece of paper, make a column for tosses and another for crosses. And the tosses column is where you keep track of how many times you throw the food item. Okay, so that's self-explanatory. The crosses column is where you'll keep track of how many times your items land across one of the lines. Note that that landing is not the same thing as bouncing. Get into your position and throw your food. Throw one at a time. Well, that would make sense if you have to keep track of where they land as opposed to bouncing. And once it is at rest, observe whether or not it's crossing one of the lines. Okay, so it... whatever. If it is, put a tick under crosses and a tick under tosses, and if it isn't, put a tick under tosses. When you run out of hot dogs, pick them up and reuse them. Make sure to throw from the same position. Repeat this process as many times as you like. You should start seeing some interesting results around 100 to 200 throws. And they even put in parentheses, this doesn't take as long as it sounds. Yeah, I don't know about that. I guess we'll find out if I do this. When you're done, divide the number of crosses by 2 and divide the number of tosses by that. For example, if you threw 300 times and it crossed 191 times, you'd calculate that 300 divided by, in parentheses, 191 divided by 2. And to your amazement, you will now have an approximation for pi. And they have a calculation chart. Alright, so as a quick aside before we get into this, I realized last night while I was throwing the hot dogs with my little brother that with the both of us throwing it, the experiment was going to be a little off, as well as by our 15th or 20th throw, the hot dogs were effectively completely thawed out, which admittedly did make it a little funnier, but it also kind of goes against what the experiment wants, which is what it wants you to do with the frozen hot dogs, because they got to be stiff. So we basically did the entire experiment yesterday with thawed hot dogs. The math even showed that was not a good way to go about it, so... But either way, I'm going to put the highlights of us doing that at the end of the video, because there was a couple funny moments in there. And also because, why not? But anyways, let's get into it. Oh, they slide something fierce now. Oh yeah. In case you don't believe me that they're frozen this time, there is some wiggle, but these literally just came out of the freezer. I actually had to break like packs. I broke 2 of them trying to separate these from the pack because I didn't realize how hard they'd freeze together. That's on me. Should have thought of that. I just didn't realize that they would freeze together like that. What the fuck am I doing with my life? They're starting to split. 7, 23, 40, 50. We're a little more than halfway done. I may have to remove these 2 from the experiment. If they start, like, wildly changing the landing points, I definitely will, but I'm gonna give it at least another go, see if there's any difference, really. I'm officially gonna remove this one from the running, because, I mean, that's probably gonna fuck up the results. I'm gonna set it aside for now in case they all start splitting. Now that the throwing of the hot dogs is done and my floor no longer smells like hot dog juice or has chunks of hot dogs on it, because some of them actually did kind of shatter a bit. Let's do the math. Okay, so let's see. I have the equation here, and I have my calculator here. So it says when you're done, divide the number of crosses by 2. There's 57 of those, so let's divide 57 by 2. It's 28.5. I could have done that in my head, but whatever. Anyways, then divide the number of tosses by that. Okay, that I can't do in my head, so let's see. 100 divided by 28.5. You know? That's pretty close, actually. It's 3.5 and then a bunch of shitload, or just a shitload of numbers after that. Maybe there's something to this, which honestly I don't know how to feel about that. I'm genuinely surprised that it's anywhere near. It's close enough to where I'm actually questioning it still, but it's also far enough away to where it's like, well, alright then. Granted, I think that's just simply due to the fact that there's no way to like perfectly do this without having like a robot or some shit, because it is based on how accurately you can throw the fucking wieners. So, upon thinking about this for a little while, that's what that jump pad earlier was for, it seems like this might actually be true. Why? Like, alright. I'm probably gonna look into this later, and if I find something before I decide to upload this video, I'll put it in here, but I am genuinely curious as to why. Like, how that works. How does it line up like that? I mean, hey, on the upside though, this weirdly specific wikiHow article isn't lying, so I'm glad I made this video. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and now here's the highlights with my little brother. I'm gonna do the smart thing and pull up the wikiHow.
On what?
How to calculate pi by throwing wieners.
Bruh. What?
Oh yeah, I didn't tell you that's what we're here for, did I?
No. What?
I felt like a fucking lunatic measuring them in ShopRite, by the way.
What?
I had to bring a tape measure into ShopRite to measure the damn hot dogs for this stupid video.
Oh my god. I can hold a max of 7 wieners per hand. How many times do we have to do this?
About 200.
No! Yeah.
I hope that's on camera. I really hope. Hang on. It is. It is. One of the fucking wieners broke finally. I was wondering what was gonna happen. Thank you all for watching, and have a great day.